This is Beth and Julia. They turn sunlight into television and cold fridges and internet videos. Beth and Julia are designers with solar companies. Before the installers ever arrive, they're responsible for designing a system that will turn sunlight into usable energy. But before all of this, they had to figure out how to train for jobs that technically didn't exist yet. We are going to talk to Beth and Julia about breaking into an industry that's changing every day and how they design a system for your roof that takes the whole energy ecosystem into consideration. On this episode of Renewable.
Some people know what they want to be when they grow up, and I didn't. So I knew I needed something more technical, but I wanted it to be something I was passionate about, and I realized that I valued protecting the environment, and that that was going to be my next step, my motivation. So when I heard that Nate had the alternative energy program, I just signed up. I didn't even know what I was getting into.
Beth and Julia are both graduates of the Nate Alternative Energy Program. But alternative energy doesn't really mean one thing. That's why their education had to expose them to a wide breadth of different technologies across the renewable space.
They throw all the technologies at you. So you look at solar and wind, biofuels, fuel cells, hydro, it just is such a broad span of technologies, and then it's kind of like, go.
And go they did. Beth and Julia work as designers at solar companies that design and install solar arrays on residential and commercial scale projects. Which brings us to a question that's not quite as cut and dry as we thought it was. What is solar design? Let's dig into this. A solar designer typically starts with an aerial image of the property. Think Google Maps. Sometimes that's actually what they use. They use this image to calculate the roof shape and panel capacity, as well as the amount of shade on the roof. They need to know what the customer, the person whose house they're actually installing the panels on, wants out of the system, and the energy capacity required to do it. They have to decide between different types of inverters. Inverters turn the direct current produced by the panels into AC power that you and the grid can use. String converters link multiple panels, and they're cheaper, but kind of like Christmas lights, a flaw with one panel is felt across the whole system. Microinverters are more efficient, but they cost more. And all of these different elements that they're juggling get multiplied if the project is commercial.
I think a lot of people think that, if you believe in renewables and think they're a good thing, just you believe in they might not exist. Or something if you think they're a good thing, they're fairies. If you think they're a good thing, then you must be against oil, and it's just like a dichotomy of either oil and coal and fossil fuels or renewables. I think the future will be a marriage of the two.
We wrapped up with what were, to our minds, the two big questions at the heart of the industry that Beth and Julia have chosen. Where do you think the future of solar is going? But also, as part of this new generation, how do you think we're going to look back on this transitional period that we're in right now?
I think looking back and being like, wow, we were so silly. Why were things so hard? It just seems like an obvious choice, an obvious decision to make, to go renewables and to green the grids and just kind of clean up our environments. So I'm hoping to look back on it and be like, we were a part of the kind of right at the beginning of it, and now it's kind of the norm. I think that's how it's going to be. It's going to be something we look back on and be like, why was that so difficult back then?